Hi, it's Kathy with City Farmhouse Studio, and today I want to show you how I made the I'll Keep You Warm cowl. It is a crochet neck warmer and it has one button. It is Landscape Breeze by Lion Brand Yarns. Lovely colorway. I like the bright colors, but whenever it's worked just in a regular pattern front to back, I actually tried knitting and the colors just kind of blended together, big stripes of yellow and then all the lovely blues, grays, and purples just kind of mold together, and it didn't have the same impact as with this basket weave, which I'm very happy with, and I hope you are too. So again, the Lion Brand Yarns Landscape Breeze, it is a modal acrylic wool, and you can feel that wool in there if you are sensitive to it. My daughter tried one on. I made one for the child size, and she actually says it's too itchy for her. So if you are sensitive to wool, I am going to do this in the Lion Brand Basic Stitch, which is a full acrylic. So you get the options of some options to do. Both of the yarns are a medium 4. For this particular Landscapes Breeze, it's 157 yards and 3.2 ounce. The Lion Brand is 3.5 ounce and you get 185 yards. You will need one button, but you can go ahead and what's really fun with this also is you can really play around with where your buttons are. You can put another one up more towards the other end of the long edge of the scarf and then have 2 buttons on the edge. You could just have one here. I like it down here because you can really play around with whether it's kind of laying to the side or more open. A lot of opportunities. Also, depending on which side of your neck you have your curve, you also get some different options to wear it kind of more as an open size Dicky mascot. So a lot of opportunities, at least one button, but lots of ways for you to play around with it. So to begin for this pattern, I have my yarn, and I have a size K 6.5mm crochet hook. This one is a Susan Bates, and it has a nice bamboo handle. So I am making a youth size. My daughter is 9. The child size would be more for those toddler to 6-year-olds, depending on how wide of a neck your child starts getting from there and how fast they mature. Then you can go up to a youth, kind of a tween size, and then the adult size is that the largest. There are linked diameters in the description so you can see what's best for you. So to begin with the slip knot on your hook, you chain 12, okay? And then I want to 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 4th chain from my hook. I want to make a double crochet. And then in each chain all the way down. So here's my last double crochet. Row. So for row 2, you're going to chain 2, and that's going to act as your first double crochet of the row. And then the second step of this is to back post double crochet in your second stitch. Now a back post double crochet, you set it up just like you would a regular double crochet. So you wrap your hook, and then instead of going into the top little V of the stitch, you want to go from the back side in between the posts and wrap around your stitch. From there, that's where you pull up your first loop, and then you proceed to make a double crochet as you would. Okay, so that's a back post. You're going from the back side of the fabric. Then you want to make a front post. Set up your double crochet, go from the front side of the fabric and wrap around your double crochet from the previous row. Pull your loop up and make a crochet, double crochet. And then you do that again. After you've made 2 front post double crochet, you want to make 2 back post double crochets. Now I've completed 2 back post double crochets, so now I'm back to the front. And now 2 back posts to end the row. And your last back post double crochet will be on that turning chain. So you just go around it. And that's your first row of back post, front post double crochet. Okay, so now from here on out, you want to repeat that row for, and it tells you how many in the pattern. So chain 2. Now when you turn, that back post from the front side starts sticking out on the top. So if it's on the top, I want to make a back post. Now you can see where the next group has the V's from the stitch of the row before, and then the post stitches lie behind that. So whenever it's behind the stitch, you want to make a front post. And again, it's still the same pattern as before, but this is kind of where you don't have to count how many front posts, back posts you've already done, what's next in the pattern. By looking at your stitches of what you've already completed, you can tell which direction you need to make. So since those lie in front, the stitch, those got back posts. Now these are lying behind, so I want to go the opposite. So I do a front. All right, so you continue this pattern for the rows, and you want to continue for so many number of rows. That first row of double crochets will count as a row. So far I have 1, 2, 3 rows completed. And it really starts helping whenever you can see the V marks because you can start counting by twos. You skip one, that's 2, and then the next one that you see would be 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep crocheting to my number that the youth size says, and I'll catch you for the next step, which will be the edging around this basket weave texture. So there I finished the rows for the basket weave texture, the main scarf, for the scarf for my size. Now I want to do a double crochet edging. Once I've finished my rows, I did not bind off, so I'm going to chain 2, which acts like my first double crochet, and then in that first stitch on the corner I'm going to add 1 more, and that's going to help act like a turning extra width as you go around that corner edge. And then you just want to evenly crochet double crochets along the side. And as you go, you get used to your stitch width. I'm doing 2 per double crochet. So you can kind of see where they all tuck in. Actually, it's not 2 double crochets. It is 1 on a turning chain and 2 per double crochet. And I get that little cross bit in between on a double crochet. And then where you had your chain 2, it's a nice big open spot. So just 1 in that, and you can see it's starting to lay flat. Just key. Okay, so I've come up the side. You can see that it's laying pretty flat and even. There's a little spacing from different where it catches, but it's laying flat, not curling along the sides, not pulling in, not rippling. So that's what I'm looking for. Now on the side, once you get to the last double crochet, I want to make 1 in there, and then I'm going to go into this corner loop that I see, and I'm going to make 2, come on, I'm going to make 2 double crochets in that loop that I made along the corner. Now I want to go into the tops between the double crochets. So this is my starting edge. I'm just going to go in between this row. Okay. Last one, and then in that corner, on this side of the corner, I want to make 2 in that little spot. Now I'm back to my side where I'll make 1, and then on the space, each space, go. And I'll just continue this on down and repeat the same thing on the other edge, the one corner, and then bind off on the next, and I'll show you that. So I've come to the end, and stretching it apart, I can see that that's my chain 2 of the row. So I'm going to go in once, go to one of the little side loops, try not to split it. I'm going to make 2 double crochets in it, make that turn on the corner, and then I'm just going to go straight in between the spaces, just like on the bottom edge. So here, where you're usually working through that top V stitch, I'm just going in between the 2 posts all the way around, making a double crochet. You can see that's where we started. Go far enough down. Okay. So this is that last post. Here's where I started the 2 in that first corner. So I want to go one more in between what was the post and the second to last post. Make my last double crochet, and then top of that chain 2, again, I'll make a slip stitch. Pull your stitch just straight through. Pull that end through. Get my scissors. All right. We're blocking, even all of that out. Now I need to weave in my ends. And I like to use that row where I started going around your edge is a good place to hide the length. And then I start weaving it around through the middle of stitches, columns. And I like to go up and down and weave multiple directions so that it really locks it in. Down. A little bit more. This side of the column. And I'm intentionally trying to split the yarn that I'm weaving into, and that helps get a nice tight hold. Go. Just trim that close. this side. So again, going through and towards the middle along that base, the double crochets, down through the middle of a column. You can tell with your needle front and back how much of that thread actually is loose versus tucked in between the stitches. Weave over to another column and go up through it. Go back down through this one, finish it off. And I like to kind of pull so that it doesn't get too tight in there. So there's the main part of the cowl. Next scarf warmer. Now I want to sew on a button. So for the button, I want to sew it on as the scarf body is laying vertically towards you. You want to sew it on the left bottom corner, right in there. Now, this stitch pattern, you can tell there's a lot of open spaces. So I want to be sure where I'm tying the button has enough of a material to support the pulling of the thread. I want to have a little bit of space along the edge. So I could go here, but I want to give it a little bit more space. So I'm going to go diagonally in one to where the other is a post top. So you can get that good meat of all those yarns coming together. So I'm just going to place my button right there for now that I remember. I have some thread, kind of similar, but it is not exactly matched, but it'll be close enough for this project. I'm just going to cut off a little bit of length. Now I need to tie a knot for what I'm going to secure on the back side. So I wrap it around my finger and I just roll it to where the yarn flips around and through the finger a couple times. I'm going to pull it to where it stays towards that end as much as possible. And there we go. I'm going to just trim that. I have a needle sharp. It's a sewing needle with an eye. I'll thread it. All right. So now we're ready to begin sewing. I'm going to hold my button where I wanted it and turn it on the back side. And it's this space that I want to go through. So with my sharp, I'm going to poke through and make sure I go through one of the holes on the button. And pull out, and I want to be careful not to pull all the way through the yarn yet, the thread, because this is so open it could just pull straight through. So back on my button side, I'm going through my other hole. Now this button only has 2. Some buttons have 4 holes, and there's a couple of options what you can do. You can do this exactly how I'm doing, and then repeat it on the other 2 holes. Or you can just keep working around, going through all 4s or making an X. Any way is correct, as long as it holds your button on, you're good. All right, so I've pulled through towards the back side. Now I want to take that knot that we just made in the thread in my fingers, and then take the sharp, and I want to go through that knot. And that's going to lock everything in place and hold it so this knot doesn't pull through your fabric. All right, so now I'm going to go back in a similar place, but not exactly. Pull through. I'll go through the other. Make sure I get some of that good yarn, the post. I'm going to repeat this a few times, making sure I go in and out kind of at different angles. You can see I'm going through the same hole, but just angling my needle a little bit different each time, and you get to clasp different amounts of threads of your yarn. And that all helps it distribute the force and tension. There's nothing like sewing on a button and then after wearing it a few times, the button comes off. Make sure I get some of that. Now, if you're sewing on fabric, you kind of want it as nice and neat as possible, but with this yarn, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I've gone through and I have a good amount covering the button. Now I need to secure it on the back. What I do is I go through a good couple, about a quarter of an inch. Midway, I'm not poking through the front side, I'm not going through the button, just through the yarn material. I want to pull till there's a little bit of a loop left. Now with my needle, I'm just going to wrap that thread around it a few times. I did 3. It's looped a few times and you just pull that tight and that forms a knot. But I want to be extra secure, so I'm going to do that again, going through different amount of material. Take the loop, wrap my yarn around it a few times, and then pull that tight. All right, and then take your scissors and cut that tight end to your material. And there you have your button. So this will lie on the outside of the neck. You wrap your scarf around, and it pokes through, just like that. And there you have your I'll Keep You Warm cowl. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this cowl as much as I've and all of our little girls in our family are enjoying them. Please like and subscribe and catch us on all social medias. On YouTube, we do have a podcast where I talk about what I've been up to and what's going on here in the studio, along with going live, just playing records, sitting down and crocheting. Come join me. You can sit and relax, have a cup of tea and coffee, and just enjoy the records that I spin. Thanks again. Talk to you later. Bye.